And hi there, and thanks for tuning in to Canceling COVID. I'm Tanya Ivans, and as usual, it's always an honor to join you and to have you join us every Tuesday, of course, discussing what's happening in our community, canceling COVID. Folks, we're still addressing the issue, real talk, real solutions to let you know how we're being impacted each and every day. It's so important that we continue to keep you informed. It doesn't always make mainstream media, and oftentimes you have questions. And so we're here to provide those information or that information for you. It's a great day. We had liquid sunshine quite a bit yesterday, a little bit cooler, but we are setting ourselves up for a great week of a lot of sun. And that means a lot of activity, a lot of coming together, a lot of getting back outside. But what you got to be very careful about and be cautious is we're still dealing with COVID. And that's been our main thing. We continue to say that. We continue to let you know that this is happening. And we want you to at least be the mouthpiece or the voice of reason for those that just choose to completely say, hey, I'm sick and tired of dealing with it. We all are. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't deal with it. So, of course, I want to start by thanking our sponsor, Groundwater Solutions, groundwater-solutions.org, groundwater-solutions.org, 704-596-0505. And, of course, I have to bring in someone who's very knowledgeable about what's happening in the community and that can help us navigate this conversation. None other than Dr. Tracia Black of Groundwater Solutions. First of all, good morning and thank you so much for always being available to work with us as we work to educate our community.
Good morning, Tanya. How you doing this morning?
Doing fantastic. Doing great for a Tuesday. Had a great weekend, Resurrection Weekend. And what about yourself?
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Still flying high from the weekend.
Yeah. It was so good to be back. I went to my mom's, the church that I really grew up in and will always be connected to that. And it just felt good to be back amongst family and to worship. It was just pretty amazing. So much love in the room. So people certainly are appreciative that we're able to gather again. But we see some stuff happening here. We got to just dive right in. And it's a little concerning. It has to be to everybody. So let me just say this. We still have COVID happening, folks. We know that. We're talking about it every week. And I'm going to continue working on this project. And I'll talk more later about how you're helping me out with yet another project that we're doing. But it helps these conversations, being a mouthpiece for the community. God bless you for that. But we are still seeing as a country at least 500 deaths a day. We're still seeing about 30,000 cases. And yet and still, people seem to think that everything's okay.
Right. I think for a while, Tanya, people have not been personally touched by COVID-19 in say the last 3 to 6 months. And so we think that, again, that it's over, that we have nothing to be concerned about. But I do believe that we're about to see a shift that's going to come on quickly, that we're going to see those numbers, as we talked about last week, going back up. But I think you're going to also start seeing it personally in your family, in your workplace. You're going to start hearing again about people that you know personally who are contracting COVID-19 and what they're experiencing.
So as I hear you say that, I get just so frightened because I think about where we have come from. It's been 2 years and everyone, we've lost loved ones, even if it hasn't been, if it wasn't over the past 3 to 4 months. I mean, my heart just kind of goes out to, oh my goodness, as we have the elderly in our family, people who have underlying health conditions. And we've been talking about trying to encourage everyone to be proactive, check on your health, have a healthier lifestyle. People have commended me for having you even talk about some of the alternative ways to address the issue. But I don't know what else besides to keep talking about it, to kind of say, I'm talking to you. Please listen.
I think we have to consistently be a reminder.
Okay.
People need reminders, when we go about our daily lives and we're all so busy, we have issues and problems. And we, again, like in the communities of color, one of the things I said at the very beginning is that we have 99 problems and COVID just isn't one. It's not at the top of our list. So we still have to push leaders to address those problems so we can better focus on our health in every area, not just COVID-19. But we have to be that voice that keeps reminding people, remember to be safe, remember to eat healthy, remember to mask up, remember to protect your space when you're out in public, like you did. You talked about doing that at a store one day. We have to consistently be reminded of that because society is moving on and we're not yet safe to do that.
So let's kind of just dissect everything as much as we can in 30 minutes, starting with our leaders, holding them accountable. So I was at a
Mhm,
town meeting last night in Cornelius, and there was a survey and the conversations about how do we spend this money from the American Rescue Plan. A
mhm,
survey was done in the community. Nowhere on there did anyone suggest that you take some of those funds and educate the community. And I was
mhm,
sitting there going, oh my goodness,
mhm,
nobody is interested in educating our community about how to deal with COVID. Is that
mhm.
surprising to you?
It is not surprising to me at all. I think we have leaders and they are great leaders for the most part. But sometimes we go in these rooms and we make these policies, procedures, and create programs without bringing people who are part of the community to the table. So we design things that really don't work. And we put these wonderful programs in place that people don't access. I remember you had on here once about rent assistance. And
Right.
we got this huge pot of money that people were not accessing. We're saying, well, why aren't people applying? Well, it's a great program, but if we're not out in the streets, literally knocking on doors, going to where people live, where they work, where they eat, and they aren't aware of programs, they're not going to access them. Or if they're not aware of their need, we're not educating them about what health really looks like, they're probably not going to take advantage of these beautiful programs that we design behind closed doors. I think that's the leaders have to kind of get that light bulb that they have to be in the community in order to design programs for the community or go in the community and
Right.
design the programs with the people.
And that you make a great point right there. And along those lines, Mecklenburg County is now offering some assistance, mortgage assistance to those in the county outside of the city, because we've talked about, and to your point, some more money was given to, I believe it was Dream Partners. I've listed and shared that information. And they went through a lot of that money, and some more was provided to help people with their mortgages and just to help them stay in their homes.
Mhm,
And now there's funding available for the county. So if you're in some of the outlying towns, Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville, Matthews, and Mint Hill, there's some
mhm,
mortgage assistance available for you as well. Just reach out to Mecklenburg County and you can go to their website, metcountync.gov. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, girl, the airlines. I've got a
um,
flight
mhm,
happening this week.
mhm.
And, yesterday it was announced that the mandates have been dropped and the airlines hopped on it right away. And of course,
Immediately.
yeah, they didn't waste any
I
time.
heard that, it was announced mid-flight, take your mask off. You don't have to wear your mask.
And
Mhm,
so I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna have my mask on. And do you think someone's gonna try to bully me, or is it gonna be okay? These random thoughts are running through my mind. And
mhm,
of course, the statement I've been hearing is, well, on the airplane, it's the air circulation is the most advanced because of technology. The challenge is really in the terminal where
mhm.
you're around individuals. Your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts is, I commend the CDC for recommending the mask mandates when traveling on planes. I,
Mhm.
I commend them for taking a stance that is not popular in United States today.
Right.
However, a judge looked and said that it was a violation of the of federal law for
Right.
them to mandate that. So I understand and their decision is rooted in human rights. As we have the right to wear a mask if we want to. So the
Right.
law protects you as well. That if you choose to wear your mask, that you can wear your mask, but if you choose not to, you don't have to wear your mask. So it gives us back the freedom of choice, which choice is always great,
Yeah.
but choice overrides safety is the
Yeah.
question we're asking. And we also already know that the popular culture right now is anti-masking.
Right.
And so there will be pressure when you put your mask on wherever we go, and people are going to look. Hopefully, people will not say anything to you, but we know that in this day and age, people kind of, if they think it, they say it. You know,
Right.
we just have to be confident in what we do and don't be discouraged. If I make a choice for my personal safety that you disagree with, I can't be frustrated if you comment on that. And have your answer ready. How will you respond? Will you
Yeah.
just ignore them, or will you have a ready response?
Absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. I always think about the nail salons all the time that we've been going in there and they've got
Mhm,
masks on and we don't. I don't think I'll ever return to a nail salon without a mask on, whether
mhm,
it's required or not. Now, recently, even though the mask mandate was lifted for the state, they were still asking at the salon that you put your mask on, and pretty
mhm,
much everyone did have theirs on. Now, Philadelphia, again, we talked about this. They have
mhm,
taken the bold, unpopular
mhm,
position and have reintroduced the mask mandate, and they are being sued by some businesses. It's
mhm,
for indoors, outdoors you're fine, but indoors, and now they're being sued. Now,
mhm,
what I foresee on the other side is Philadelphia is going to come out looking like a real true champion. What's your
mhm.
thoughts on that?
I believe that. I believe that, it's the city of brotherly love, and they love each other enough to fight that fight for their community. So I commend them. I understand, even with the flying and the mask mandate for planes that has been taken away, they still give the airline, any business, any airline, the right to mandate that for their business. So, there's some wiggle room in there, even
Yeah.
if you want on in your facility to mask, and you can do that, or social distance. I think what's happening in Philadelphia is, again, they believe they should have the right to choose, but
Yeah.
human safety overrides public opinion and public choice, in my opinion. And if it's their city, they have the right to do and mandate what they choose. And I commend them for standing up.
Well, one more thought on the airlines. The thought is for the flight attendants. The pilots are okay. They're locked away in their own private,
Mhm, mhm,
portal covered area, and the flight attendants are
mhm,
out there with the masses having to deal with that. But let's move on and talk about what's happening at Groundwater Solutions, which has a pulse on what's happening in the community. Tell us more about what you're seeing as of
mhm.
yesterday.
So I'm seeing the numbers go up continually since about 2 to 3 weeks ago. The numbers have been rising. What I'm noticing is, in this period, we're in the midst of spring and allergies, and so lots of folks are experiencing reactions from the pollen and all the other allergens that are out there. So
Mhm.
the symptoms that I'm seeing with COVID-19 really mimic those same allergy symptoms. And so folks are hesitant to get tested. They're treating at home. But typically, when they show up here with those allergy symptoms, they're congested, they're coughing, their eyes are itchy. And and they'll say, "Oh, I've been fighting this for a week and it just won't go away." And they're testing and they're coming up positive. So I'm encouraging folks, if you're having those symptoms, cold, flu-like symptoms, of course, but just even the allergy symptoms, consider getting tested. Because again, you may just be fighting allergy symptoms at home or out, you're going to work, but you may encounter someone who is going to have a very dangerous reaction to the virus. So we need to be safe and not be carriers who are unaware.
So that makes it even more tough, Dr. Black, because now you're saying everybody knows we got one of the
Mhm,
worst regions for allergies. Uh,
mhm,
Yours included. I've
yeah,
been a victim of allergic to just about everything for years, and I pretty
mhm,
much have it under control. I've done the immunotherapy. I know when to take, what to take, how it
mhm,
all comes together. But you're
mhm,
telling me now, especially as people relocate to this area and they've never had allergies before, and then they
mhm,
start getting, and everybody, oh, you've got allergies because you usually see the pollen everywhere. You can see the film on your car and on the sidewalk. You're saying, um, if you think it's allergies, don't just write it off. Get tested.
mhm.
Is that what I'm hearing from you?
I'm saying test as a precaution. It's
Okay.
a way that we now have to live our lives. If we come down with a cold, if we have allergies, if there's something different in our bodies, we need to test to make sure that, one, we're aware if we're carrying the COVID-19 virus and that we don't pass it around. So I think we check for any illness that we have. We
Okay.
should check. as a precaution. It's very important. And we've had festivals, we've had Easter.
Yeah.
There has been some folks who came home from Aggie Fest this weekend at
Mhm.
A&T with positive for COVID-19. So again, just like the Omicron virus in January, if you're in the room, it is very likely that you're going to contract the virus. So if we know that 10 people coming out of Aggie Fest came back with the virus, then that means there are probably a lot more folks there who also contracted the virus.
And interesting you mentioned that because I think I also read where there was a recent outbreak, I believe at Howard University. Same thing with college students. And you're right, we're coming out of spring break and coming out of Easter Resurrection weekend and all of these gatherings. And we're really trying, and I'm speaking for my family, trying to be safe and cautious. Of course, it's tough with teenagers. It really is, no denying that.
Mhm,
But just trying to keep that conversation in the forefront. And hey, you've got to be careful about that.
mhm,
Testing is very important. You all
mhm.
are still providing that, but are people telling you they're using their take home or their home test kits?
They are, which I
Oh,
really encourage.
so people
And
are using those.
they are using those.
Okay, and they seem to be fairly reliable.
Oh, again, they're reliable in that if you test positive, then you know I can respond. We do know that the rapid tests have a percentage of false negatives, meaning that they can miss the virus if the viral load is not high enough. So, it's better than doing nothing, is what I will say.
Okay, at least you're making an effort to be informed because we know that being aware and testing is key to any preventative medicine or preventative condition as long as you're taking the time to find out. So let's talk about the testing sites. We had mentioned that some people funding was being pulled and
Mhm,
there may be a limited amount of locations, especially if you are uninsured.
mhm,
You all are one of the sites, however, still providing
mhm.
testing even if you don't have insurance, correct?
Correct, correct. And we're not seeing everybody rise to that. So just do your research now. One of the things that I always say is know who in your area is testing. Don't wait until you need a test to start looking, because then you might be behind the eight ball and not be able to readily find someone available. So go ahead and do your research. Have that on hand in your pocket so that if something comes up, if someone in your household or in your circle starts to develop any types of symptoms, that you can pull out, well, here are the people and places that you can go. And the testing sites, will we see the mass testing sites that we've seen in the past? I don't know about that, because people are concerned about funding. You
Okay.
know, we will be out there. We're committed to this cause, and we trust God that God will provide and be able to sustain that site. But somebody has to do it.
Well, it's also because you have a passion and a love for the community, and it's not about the funding for you. And
Mhm,
that's where a lot of people miss the point. I do want to touch on one thing. There's a gentleman, I wanted to get his name right. I believe it's DJ Slay. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He has had COVID. He had it since January, and he just died.
oh my gosh.
And he was like 50 in his early 50s. It just blows my mind that in 2022, after all we've been through,
Mhm,
here's someone that had been sick with COVID for almost 5 months and
mhm,
just transitioned. Uh, are you familiar with any cases? It just seems like I could understand. I really can't
mhm,
comprehend because we hear about all the technology, all the advancements, and I believe he just in looking, he could have been possibly overweight,
mhm,
so he may have had a weight condition, and who knows what his health was like. But
mhm.
is that seems like maybe something that's really rare, or I mean, I don't even know if you could comment on that. I just found that
Yeah,
to be
I don't necessarily think it's rare. I think,
okay.
I have questions when I hear about individuals like that. Well, the first thing it does is it again reminds us that this is a serious illness,
Right.
that it's not an illness that we take lightly, and that it has the ability to be life threatening. And I think because for the most part, for most individuals, COVID is not going to be life threatening. I mean, you're
Okay.
going to have symptoms. They're going to be adverse effects in your body that could last a short time or a long time. But for the majority of the population, it's not a killing disease. But
Well,
for some in our population, it is. That's why we all have to take it really seriously. So that loss of life reminds me of that it matters what we do. The other thing that it does, it makes me question is how soon was the virus detected?
okay,
You know, we know that early detection saves lives.
right.
So the earlier it was detected, and if it's someone with potential for life-threatening illnesses and they sit at home without being tested, without going to the doctor to get some type of treatment or intervention, then it does not typically go well for them, you know.
Oh, well, God bless him and his family. It's just, it was just so shocking, and especially with him being a DJ, and I know some
Mhm.
people that knew him, and I was just trying to process, someone having it for that long and just passing away. And it goes back to healthier choices, everyone, a healthier lifestyle. We can't preach
Mhm.
that enough, which would be helpful with the funding, the American Rescue Plan funding, if it was earmarked and specifically said you've got to include some education on this topic. But let's continue. I know I've got to let you go. I've got another guest that I want to schedule. I'm not exactly sure, but the information that you're sharing, I think, is very valuable. And that's what we are planning to do here, is just educate our community. The
Mhm.
Omicron subvariant 2, I guess, is the proper name or what they're calling it.
EA2.
Okay, so it's BA2 that's now
Mhm.
starting to impact our community. But I was happy to see a lot of options now for treatment. In addition to the pill, we were talking about testing. Isn't there some type of breath testing or something? Are you familiar with that? That will let you know if you got COVID or not?
Breath testing, I have
Yeah,
not
you
heard
haven't heard
that.
about that?
We've
Okay.
we've actually moved to the to swabbing. So
Okay.
we're utilizing swabbing in many of our testings now. So there are different options for testing, yes, and there are absolutely options for treatment. You know, we have the IV treatments,
Mhm.
we have monoclonal antibodies, but we also have, like you said, the pills that
Okay.
are
So you all
available.
have the pills and the uh antibody therapy now.
We partner with an organization that provides that.
Okay. Well, that's
Mhm.
a good option, especially for people who don't want to be bothered with the needles. That's really
Absolutely.
yeah,
Hmm.
I did see, I was trying to find where it was. I did see something where there's some type of, like a breathalyzer that tells you whether you have yeah, I'll have to share it with you that lets you know whether you have COVID or not. And that just speaks to science, continuously developing, advancing, making sure that our community is taken care of. So I appreciate that. So
Now,
I
those
know I
of
have
us
to let
who
you go.
are passionate about this, we're not going to stop working on it and making it more accessible, giving you different options. And so I'll commend them for keeping up the good work.
Well, clearly it's not going away, so we're gonna have to keep dealing with it. So I'm gonna wrap things up here with you. Is there anything else that you would like to share? I know you had your job fair a couple weeks
Mhm.
ago, and would love to have an update on how things are going, and just whatever you all are working on that focuses on the community, which is
Well,
almost everything.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Um, we're working, our job fair again went really well. We have two rounds of folks who are starting employment here. And we're actually meeting this morning at
Okay.
at 10 a.m. with our staff. And we are doing testing before we enter the building
Okay.
because that is a safety protocol that we practice here at Genesis and Groundwater. So we're just kind of getting folks kicked off. We're renewing our purpose to really impact this community. So we have different programs popping up. I'll bring an outline and share with you guys in future weeks.
Hey, Dr. Black, before I let you go, are you all doing virtual visits as well? Is that incorporated with you so people don't even have to leave their home if
They
they
do not have to leave their homes. We are all of the documents that you need to sign. We deliver using a DocuSign format to your phone or your email address, and you can hop on with a clinician. We also have community health workers because some things cannot be done virtually. Sometimes
right?
medical professionals need to lay their hands on you. Well, we have community health workers that we have now trained that they can come to you at home and get your weight, your
Wow.
blood pressure, all of your vitals. If you need any specimens collected, they'll collect them right there at your front door. So we're trying to be very responsive to what our community needs to make it convenient and really just encourage us to get healthy. We're meant to live full lives,
Yeah.
happy lives. healthy lives, to be joyful. And so if you're not there, if there are areas in your life that you are just unsatisfied with and you're not shining, then we're going to encourage you here to make a call us or call somebody so that you can live.
Well, and that leads right into calling you at 704-596-0505, 704-596-0505, or you can hop on the website groundwater-solutions.org. And Dr. Tricia Black is joining me next weekend. We'll talk more about it, teaching in color, to continue to keep this conversation going, educating our community, because we want to work together to cancel COVID. I started to say the whole cancel
Yeah, I
culture.
know.
You work to try to cancel these things, and you might cancel them for a minute and they come right back. And so it's really a big play on words, because we're continuously working to cancel it. But we also know that it's going to be with us for a while, but we still can get better control over it. So thank you again for taking the time to
Welcome.
talk with us. All
Thank
right.
you. Bye, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of your day, Dr. Tricia Black, everyone. I'm just so grateful, so appreciative for all that she continues to do to help us here. I've got some more updates for you. We had another guest. Excuse me, looks like not going to be able to join us, but a few updates that I need to share with you. So a few updates for you as we wrap things up. Again, thank you to Dr. Tricia Black of Groundwater Solutions. We appreciate her each and every week, consistently here, taking time out of her busy schedule to make sure that she is joining in, having this conversation. I also wanted to remind you, please take an opportunity and check out this report, The Impact of COVID-19 on Low-Income Households and Communities in North Carolina, assessing the impact. Some money that was used to publish this very detailed report, which is really important to anyone, regardless of what profession that you're in. It's a great opportunity to understand and know what's happening in our community and the long-term effects, not to mention that we'll be dealing with dealing with COVID. We are looking to cancel it, but certainly we'll be dealing with it for quite some time. And we just want you to be informed, be knowledgeable. So again, here's the report. It was provided by funding from the Keenan Institute UNC.edu, assessing the impact of COVID-19 on low-income households and communities in North Carolina. I mentioned to you, I'm going to try and get a guest on next week. I wanted to find out more information, and there is actually a breathalyzer that's being used that was approved. The date looks like it was approved this month on April 14th. It's the first COVID-19 diagnostic test using breath samples. So obviously the operator has to be qualified and trained to be able to administer it. But think of the advancement, and this test can be used in breath samples to determine whether you have COVID-19 or whether you do not, including the chemical compounds and breath samples associated with this new variant, the SARS-CoV-2. Dr. Black referred to it as something a little bit more technical, but that's not my wheelhouse. I just know we've got a resurge now of cases that are coming back upon us. And I know everyone wants to get it in for the holiday season. We're headed up towards Memorial Day, coming out of Easter Resurrection weekend. And, summertime, warm weather, that's what we do. Have a lot of fun, but just be mindful, especially if you're going to be inside. And speaking of being mindful, I think it's important to share with you, there is quite a bit of job opportunities happening right now with the city of Charlotte. So get with anyone, let them know if they're looking for a job or looking for a switch in their career. I saw where the city of Charlotte is hiring sanitation workers, street maintenance, even for their garage. And a lot of these jobs are offering signing bonuses, and their starting salary, I saw one started at $15 an hour, another at $20 an hour. And a lot of times, oftentimes, this is a great option for people if they've had maybe transition on their journey and may not have the work history that may always be required. Here's a great opportunity. Again, charlottenc.gov. There's actually a job fair on this Friday, but all this information at charlottenc.gov. We want to make sure that you're informed, you're aware, and have an opportunity to just improve your situation. Or if you're comfortable where you are, that's great as well. But charlottenc.gov, they are actively looking for sanitation workers, workers for street maintenance, as well as one of their garages. Well, my friends, It's time for me to move out of the way. It's been great chatting with you as always every week. Please share, take the opportunity, and let others know that we're here having this conversation. We'll be here every Tuesday. As always, life's challenges make you better, not bitter. I appreciate you more than words, because we've been at this now for over 2 years, and continuing to find ways to continuously bring you the information. If you're interested in sponsorship, you can always reach out to me. If you're interested in being a guest, at rivenstanya@gmail.com. That's rivenstanya@gmail.com. I'll be listening for you on this Saturday. You can catch me on the air, Sounds of Inspiration, on Praise 100.9 FM every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can catch Tea Time. You can catch my blogs at praisecharlotte.com. A lot of exciting information to share with you as well. Again, I appreciate you joining us. Have a great day. Get out and enjoy this wonderful weather. Be safe, and be, like I always say, be safe, be alert, be well, and check on your neighbor. And thanks for tuning in to Canceling COVID. Together, we are committed to doing this, and we couldn't do it without your support every week. Have a great day, everyone. And again, thanks for joining us.